What's going on, guys? I'm Mark Lentangin from Techno Buffalo, and today we'll be giving you guys our full review on this guy. This is the Verizon exclusive Motorola Droid Turbo. It's got a humongous 3,900 mAh battery, and it's running some of the finest Motorola features, such as Moto Display and Moto Assist. I've used it for about 10 days, 11 if you count today, and I really like it. The new Moto X, which we reviewed a while back, could have been Motorola's best device this year until these devices showed up, the Droid Turbo and the Nexus 6. The Droid Turbo features a 5.2-inch screen with a QHD 2560x1440 display, which looks absolutely gorgeous and has a pixel density of 565 ppi. Inside, it's packing a 2.7 GHz quad-core Snapdragon 805 processor with 3 GB of RAM, 32 or 64 GB of non-expandable storage, a huge 3,900 mAh battery, which we'll definitely talk about later in the video, a 21 megapixel camera with dual LED flash that's capable of recording 4K videos, and a 2 megapixel shooter in the front that's capable of recording 1080p videos. It's running Android 4.4.4 KitKat out of the box, but we'll for sure see Android Lollipop in the future. Now with those specs, it's no surprise the Droid Turbo is an absolute monster. The quad-core Snapdragon 805 processor chews 3D graphic-intensive games with ease, and the 3 GB of RAM keeps everything running at peak performance. Apps open up quickly, and browsing the web is super fast. Lag is literally non-existent on this device, no matter if you're watching Netflix or simply just scrolling through the home screen. The Droid Turbo's 5.2-inch screen is a comfortable middle ground between reasonable and a hand-aching phablet monster, like the Nexus 6. A few years back, a screen bigger than 5 inches seemed massive, but we've become accustomed to the larger display, and the Turbo for me is the perfect size. The Turbo's 2K AMOLED display is beautiful, the colors are vivid, and viewing angles are great, and the slightly elongated bottom bezel makes it pretty comfortable to hold while using the Turbo for longer periods of time. Right below that beautiful 2K display, Motorola tucked away a dedicated capacitive keys instead of using on-screen navigation, and that's not really a big deal for me. I usually want as much screen real estate as possible on any Android device, but I can also understand the appeal of always knowing where to press to get back to the home screen. Overall, I really like the Droid Turbo's design, which comes in a few different flavors. The first one is the familiar fiberglass weave we've seen on Droid devices in the past, and the one we have here is the 64 GB Droid Turbo covered in ballistic nylon, which feels really rugged and very grippy. The Droid Turbo is much thicker than the devices that came out recently, like the Moto X, the iPhone 6 Plus, and the Galaxy Note 4, but nonetheless, it's not something you're really going to notice on a daily basis. Bulky doesn't necessarily mean uncomfortable, and I would rather have a slightly bulkier phone with a bigger battery than a thin phone that couldn't last through the day. While the screen and overall design is solid, I was a little disappointed by the speaker. There's only one front-facing speaker that rests on the top of the device, and it doesn't sound as filling nor as good as something like the HTC One M8 nor the Nexus 6, which both features front-facing speakers. Compared to something like the Moto X, which also sports one front-facing speaker at the top, I found that the Moto X sounded just a tad bit better. But what really makes the Turbo shine is the software. Inside you're going to find Android 4.4.4 KitKat, and it's a near carbon copy of the Moto X, meaning you'll get a lot of the awesome Motorola exclusive features. There's Moto Display, which lets you quickly glance at notifications and the time without waking your phone. There's also Moto Voice, where you can prompt Google Now without touching your device. Moto Assist and Moto Action are here as well. With Actions, you can ignore a phone call by waving your hand over the phone, and with Assist, it'll basically change your phone's behavior based on the time of day, whether you're in a meeting or just going to bed. There's also this feature called Attentive Display, where your screen won't dim or go to sleep as long as you're looking at it. The Turbo also features a cool way to unlock your phone if you have a trusted Bluetooth device, all which makes the Droid Turbo a really powerful device. Now, talking about the camera, the Droid Turbo packs a huge 21 megapixel camera on the back, and even though it doesn't have OIS, it still produces excellent results. It holds up really well compared to the G3 and the Note 4, though comparing it to the new Moto X, it was just a bit better. Color seems to be more natural, and there's less noise in the image, which is great. In daytime and indoors, photos are sharp and have an extra punch to them, and in low light condition, it's a bit of a hit and miss. You'll find noise and grain throughout some of the shots, but nothing too crazy. I did notice that the shutter is a bit slow compared to the G3 and Note 4, and I'm not sure whether that can be fixed through a software update, but as of now, there's really not much to do in terms of tweaking the camera. The camera's UI is pretty minimalistic. There's only so much you can turn on and off to make the camera better, but in terms of video, you'll be able to record 4K videos, 1080p videos, and slow motion 720p. Though not having OIS is a pretty big deal when it comes to recording videos, and that's where the Turbo really falls short. And last but not least, let's talk a bit about the battery life. The Droid Turbo promises up to 48 hours of battery life, And after using it for about a week or so, I'm pretty impressed. With casual use, I didn't have to charge my phone for 2 to 3 days, but once I put it to its test, I would average about a day and a half. That's not quite the incredible 48 hours Motorola was promising, but it holds up well even with intensive use. And since the Turbo supports Motorola's turbocharger, you can charge the phone up super quick. I got the phone from 3% to 30-something% in about 15 minutes, which isn't bad at all. That 30-something% should last you a good couple of hours. So to wrap things up for you guys, the Droid Turbo is a well-built phone. It has beefy specs, a beautiful display, and with Motorola software on top of stock Android, it makes for a great user experience. But not only that, it should receive Android Lollipop in the near future. If you're deciding between this or something like the Moto X, I'd give the edge to the Droid Turbo just because of its 2K display and awesome battery life. I'm giving the Motorola Droid Turbo a TechnoBuffalo score of 9 out of 10. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. If you guys have any questions, make sure to let us know in the comments down below. And as always, I'm Mark Linsanger from TechnoBuffalo. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you guys would like to see more, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And we'd like to play video games every now and then in this office, so make sure to check us out at twitch.tv/TechnoBuffalo, and we hope to see you guys there.